what about the support systems that we need in our life?
And this is something, Ron, that I've worked with, not just with healthcare workers, but with everyone. I think we have support systems, but in most cases they just kind of develop without a lot of thought. And I really believe that there's some intentional ways in which we need to build support systems that really help us. So there's 3 categories of people that we need to look for in our support system. So one of the things I do with people is I send them away the first week and I say, I want you to make a list. Everybody you know. Everybody who's in your life. Everybody from work to your church, to your neighborhood, to your friends. I want you to just name them. Just give me a list of everybody who's connected to you. And I don't mean somebody, 100 miles away, unless you're connected on phone or whatever. But if you are, then I want their name there. So then we start with this. So then I have 3 categories. Everybody, a helpful support system has to include a listener. Who is it that when you need to talk, is somebody who will listen to you without trying to fix you? They're not going to give you advice. They're just going to listen. Who is it that when you need to talk through something, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, can we go for a coffee? I just have to talk this through. You won't believe what happened to me today. Or I need to tell somebody what's going on with me. So a listener, and those are the most difficult ones to find. It's hard to find listeners, but we need them. And if you have 1 or 2, good for you. So look at that list and just ask yourself, okay, who is it that's a listener? Who's the good listener there? And just put an L beside their name. The second category of support is what I call doers. We need people to help us do things. So, those
are easier to find, I think, aren't they?
Pardon me?
Those are easier to find.
Those are easier to find because it's shorter commitments. Like, and so I think of, some single moms who say, I'm at work, I need somebody to pick up my kids. Okay, I can do that. I'll go pick up your kid. Or, you know what, you need some help with getting the hoses out, I'll do that for you. Who is there that when you need something done, they're glad to do it. They're not going to listen to you. They don't want to hear about your day. They don't want to hear about all this stuff. But you just give them a task. And I'll do that. I can do that. I'll go pick you up. I'll do this. Those doers. So put the doers there. And there's a lot more of those. The third category is what I call number of names for it. I call it the party people or the distractors. Who is it that when I just need to get away, I need to go to the movies, or I just need to have fun for an evening? Who is it that I go with? I know that we're going to laugh. I know we're going to have fun. They don't want to hear anything about my struggles or anything going on in my life. They're not particularly the kind of people that want to do things for me. But if I pick up the phone, hey, you want to go have a show and then go for dinner? They're right there. And you know that you will have fun. Those are the people. Where we run into trouble, Ron, in a support system are 2 things. One, we ask the wrong type of people to do the things we need. If we're trying to ask doers to be listeners, they will for a little while. And then you'll lose them. They'll disappear. And you'll say, I don't know why they don't talk to me anymore. It's because you've been asking them to support you in ways that they are not good at or comfortable with. So I usually flip it around to say, okay, if I were making my list and your name was on it, how would I put you down? Which would you be in my list? What do you think you are?
I would think maybe a listener and a distractor.
You're absolutely right. I'd have an argument about where you would be, but you're right. So I think we have a sense of who we are, and that's where it comes to. Like, I get resentful when people want me to be what I can't be for them. Especially, I can do it once. But if it's listening. An ongoing thing,
but we have a lot of fun when we're distracted.
Exactly. But if if you're constantly asking me to do things when I have a very busy life, I'm going to get frustrated with you. So the first problem is that we're asking people to be what they're not good at being.
Right.
So I really encourage people to do your list,
Right.
identify a few people in each of those categories,
Right.
and then talk to them.
Right.
Say, listen, you know what? There's times when I'm going to need some help. I
Right.
might need some help with the drive here or there, or
Right.
picking up. Are you willing to do that for me? I'm not going to ask you to be a listener and hear my, but
Right.
would you be that for me?
Right.
Yeah, I'd be that for you.
Right.
Listen, I need some people who when I need to get away and just go have fun and laughs, I need some people. Were you
Right.
willing to be
Right.
that for
Yeah.
me? And so intentionally developing a listening or a support system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first challenge most people have is they've never thought about that way. And so
Yeah.
we use people inappropriately.
Right.
And the second problem then is we overuse people. And we overuse people in areas that they're not really wanting to do for us.
Right.
So I really would encourage people to think about who's in my life, who's a listener.
Yes.
Those are the hard ones.
Yes.
But I'm not going to ask them to also be doers and everything else.
Yeah.
If there can be a listener for me,
Yeah.
that's what I need
Yeah.
them for. So
I
that,
like that.
if I need to phone somebody at 11 o'clock at night and say, listen, I just need to talk about what's going on.
Right.
They're going to say, okay, let's
Right.
talk.
Right.
So finding,
Yeah.
there's some intentionality around a support system.
Right.
Most of us, we stumble into it. And it's okay.
Right.
But I think there's a much better way that we can do this if we can be intentional around developing the people around us. And then secondly, identifying in our own life what it is we do and need when certain things happen.
Right.
Where do we go? And those three, peace, strength, and security,
Yeah.
are the three biggies for me. So where do we go? How do I know when I need that?
Right.
Where do I go to get what I need?
Yeah.
And then developing a broader support system
that.
can really be helpful.
I haven't thought about it, those three in that way before. When I look at my life, I see those people.
Yeah.
I can identify those people, and they are valuable to me.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of one of my friends. Somebody knocked on their door one time. It was late at night, and they shared something with them, and their response was, you know what, you probably should go home and watch a movie. Turn the TV on.
That's not your
and
listener.
watch a movie. That's not your listener, right? It's it might be your distractor.
Might be a distractor
I'll
or
sit down and watch a
Yeah.
movie with you. One of the privileges of being in senior care is that we have seniors here who fit every one of those categories, but especially in that area of a listener.
Right.
Because when you are busy, the doer part of it becomes it's a lot more. It takes a lot more from you when your life is full and you're doing things for your family, yourself, and others. But in this circle, we've got over 800 seniors, and many of them are independent, sharp, aware, and they are great listeners.
What a gift.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we're honored to be part of this village and a part of their lives. And part of what we're doing here for Senior Flicks, we're really throwing this out there for them as well.
Right.
And we're going to be engaging them to tell their story so that we can learn how to live our lives better and more effectively. Was there anything else you wanted to share with us, David?
I think, there's so much we could have conversation for days probably. I love what you just said, and I think the idea of encouraging seniors to say, you know what, your life is far from over.
Right.
You have such an ability to give support and strength and be something for people.
Right.
And what is that for you? Where do you find your joy? Where do you find your meaning? And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could find that connection? I mean, when COVID finishes and things open up, and we can encourage people to be much more part of those supports.
And some of them are the doers.
And some of them are
will
the
go
doers.
over to like a No Frills or somewhere else, and I'll help you with your groceries.
Exactly. Just giving them a sense of purpose in life. But we all need it.
We do.
We're all human.
Yes.
And I think that awareness is the beginning. What is it I need? Where do I go to get what I need? And how can I be what other people need in a way that doesn't drain me? So who am I to others?
Right.
what do others expect of me?
Right.
So one of the challenges is when people want from me things that I can't provide.
Right, yes.
And that's a difficult piece.
How
but
do you
it's
say
important.
no?
How to say no.
Yes,
I had a funny, I'll finish with this, a really funny story that just this last week. So I won't give any details, but I was asked to do a presentation somewhere, and I really didn't want to do it for a number of reasons, and I won't get into it. So I gave them this, I gave them this ridiculous fee.
Right.
And they didn't blink an eye. They said, "Oh, that's fine."
Yes.
So I was telling this to one of my support people, my friends,
Right.
and I was telling her about this, and I was saying, "Oh my gosh, this is what happened." And she looked at me and she said, "Well, you could have said no. You could have just said no."
Yeah, right.
And I realized that there's pieces of me that still live in that. I don't want to disappoint people, right? That's part of my should-haves, right?
Yes.
That come from so we're never free of all of that. And yet, I think recognizing that, okay, I can say no when it's detrimental to me. I don't have to say yes.
And all of us live in that. You mentioned about balance, and you said you didn't like it. You preferred tension
to me.
Life lived in tension.
Life lives in tension.
Sometimes we're finding ourselves pulled where we know we shouldn't. Okay, I'm coming back here.
It's when we lose that tension. It's I don't find life is ever balanced for me. So sometimes when I was working, sometimes work meant I did have to work extra hours.
Right.
But I held that in tension with the fact that I don't want to always work extra hours. Right. So there'll come a time when, wow, maybe it'll be this tension. I need to work more. So, but and that's true of all of life. Very rarely do I ever find people who are, got things on balance.
Right.
It's that tension and not losing the tension.
Right.
So when I'm here, I need to also recognize there's another polar piece that I need to be aware of. I can't spend all of my time at work and none of my time here with my family.
Right.
And so that tension, you know what, and sometimes it's going to be this way and sometimes it's that way. But it always has to be in tension.
Yeah. Well, David, you've left us with a lot of gifts and a lot of help, and I've really enjoyed just our chat and just sharing, walking through some of these things. Some of the things that we chat about in person, and we've benefited from. I've truly benefited from our friendship over the years, and thank you for your gift and giving to us and those who are listening to us.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks.